She didn't shout, she didn't expose secrets, she didn't beg Hollywood for power. Instead, she quietly became its most valuable woman. By the age of 10, she was already acting in films adults couldn't emotionally survive. By 30, she was the face of the world's biggest movie franchise. And then, she did the unthinkable. She took on Disney. Not with anger, not with drama, but with contracts, silence, and precision. This is not the story of a superhero. This is the story of how Scarlett Johansson turned talent into leverage, fame into control, and Hollywood into her playing field. And once you understand how she did it, you'll never look at power in Hollywood the same way again.
Scarlett Ingrid Johansson was born on November 22, 1984, in New York City, a city that never sleeps, but also never forgives weakness. Her father, Karsten Johansson, was a Danish architect, quiet, reserved, emotionally distant. Her mother, Melanie Sloan, was different, a producer, a woman who understood stories, auditions, rejection, and ambition. Scarlett grew up in a working-class apartment, sharing rooms, sharing dreams, sharing instability. Money was tight. Arguments were loud, and love was complicated. When her parents divorced, Scarlett was still a child, but something inside her aged instantly. She later admitted, "I was very aware of adult emotions at a very young age." That emotional awareness would later become her greatest weapon on screen. Scarlett wasn't loud, she wasn't flashy, she was observant. While other kids played, she watched. She absorbed sadness, silence, tension. At just 7 years old, she told her mother she wanted to act. Not to be famous, not to be rich, but because acting allowed her to feel without being judged. Her mother took her seriously. Auditions began, mostly commercials, mostly rejections. And Scarlett? She cried. Hard. She once said, "I would cry uncontrollably after auditions. I cared too much." Many parents would have pulled their child out. Melanie didn't. Instead, she said something critical. "If you're going to do this, you have to be strong." Scarlett learned strength early. At just 9 years old, Scarlett landed her first film role in North, 1994, acting alongside Elijah Wood. The movie failed. Critics dismissed it, but Scarlett? She felt at home on set. Lights, cameras, controlled chaos. It was safer than real life. Soon after, she appeared in Just Cause 1995 with Sean Connery, a child sharing scenes with legends. People noticed something unsettling. She didn't act like a child. She listened. She reacted. She understood. Scarlett has often said, "I never had a typical childhood." While others went to school dances, she memorized scripts. While others worried about grades, she worried about emotional truth. She attended the Professional Children's School in Manhattan, balancing auditions with education. But the cost was heavy. Isolation, pressure, an identity built entirely around performance. By the time she was 11, she wasn't dreaming of becoming an actress. She already was one. What she didn't know yet was that one role would soon destroy the line between child and woman and change her life forever. In 1998, a controversial director saw something in Scarlett Johansson that even she didn't fully understand. A role that critics would call brilliant, others would call uncomfortable. A performance that would make Hollywood say, "Who is this girl? And why does she feel dangerous?" And from that moment on, there was no going back.
By the late 1990s, Scarlett Johansson was no longer a beginner. She had acted, she had experience, she had emotional depth, but Hollywood didn't know what to do with her. She wasn't cute enough for child roles. She wasn't grown enough for adult ones. She was stuck in the most dangerous place an actor can be, in between. Auditions continued, so did the rejections. Studios wanted safe faces, predictable smiles, marketable innocence. Scarlett brought something else: intensity, silence, eyes that looked like they already knew pain. Casting directors didn't always like that. She later admitted, "There were years when nothing happened. I thought, maybe this isn't gonna work." She was still a child, but the pressure was adult-sized. Then came Robert Redford, an Oscar-winning director, a Hollywood legend. He was casting a small film called The Horse Whisperer, 1998. When Scarlett auditioned, she was just 13 years old. But Redford saw something unusual. Not cuteness, not charm, depth. She was cast as Grace McLean, a girl traumatized by a brutal horse riding accident. The role required emotional restraint, psychological realism, inner suffering, things most adults struggle to portray. Scarlett didn't struggle, she lived it. Grace is angry, withdrawn, broken. Scarlett played her with terrifying honesty. No overacting, no fake tears, just silence and pain. Critics were stunned. One reviewer wrote, "Johansson delivers a performance of haunting maturity." Hollywood took notice, not as a child star, but as a serious actress. Scarlett earned Chicago Film Critics Association Award, Most Promising Actress, widespread critical acclaim. She was suddenly on the radar. But fame didn't rush in, something else did. After The Horse Whisperer, Scarlett wasn't offered fairy tale roles. She was offered complex, dark, adult characters. Hollywood began seeing her differently. She later said, "People projected things onto me that I didn't understand yet." She was still discovering herself, but the industry had already decided who she should be. At 16, Scarlett starred in Ghost World, 2001, an indie film, offbeat, cynical, smart. She played Rebecca, a grounded, emotionally mature teen surrounded by chaos. The film became a cult classic. Critics praised her naturalism. Hollywood finally understood. Scarlett Johansson wasn't a phase, she was permanent. With indie credibility rising and critical respect secured, Scarlett stood at the edge of something bigger. But with opportunity came danger, sexualization, typecasting, expectations she never asked for. The industry was ready to use her. The question was, would she control her career, or would Hollywood control her? In just 2 years, Scarlett Johansson would deliver 2 performances in 1 year that would shock the world, earn major award nominations, and officially crown her as one of the most powerful actresses of her generation. But success always has a price, and Scarlett was about to pay it. By 2003, Scarlett Johansson was just 19 years old, but inside her was an actress carrying decades of emotional weight. And then came 1 year, 1 decision, 2 films that changed everything. Most actors wait their whole lives for 1 career-defining role. Scarlett delivered 2 in the same year. Lost in Translation, 2003, directed by Sofia Coppola. A quiet film, minimal dialogue, maximum emotion. Scarlett played Charlotte, a young woman lost in a foreign city, in a hollow marriage, searching for meaning. She barely raised her voice. She didn't need to. Her silence did the talking. This wasn't teenage acting. This was restraint, loneliness, emotional intelligence. Critics were stunned. Roger Ebert wrote, "Scarlett Johansson is one of the best young actresses working today." She received BAFTA nomination, Best Actress, Golden Globe nomination, Best Actress, at 19. Hollywood had no choice now. Girl with a Pearl Earring, 2003, released the same year. A completely different role. Scarlett played Griet, a quiet maid in 17th century Netherlands. No glamour, no modern dialogue, just expression. Eyes, breath, stillness. Scarlett barely spoke, but every look carried meaning. The film earned her Golden Globe nomination, Best Actress, Drama, worldwide critical acclaim. 2 nominations, 2 genres, 1 year. That's not luck, that's dominance. Suddenly, fashion houses wanted her, directors chased her, studios saw profit. She was labeled the next great actress of her generation. But fame came with a problem. Hollywood didn't see Scarlett the artist, they saw Scarlett the image. Roles began changing, scripts focused less on character and more on appearance. She later admitted, "I felt hypersexualized at a young age." Hollywood tried to reduce her complexity into something simpler, something sellable. But Scarlett had already learned something crucial: control matters. Instead of chasing blockbusters immediately, Scarlett made a smart decision. She worked with elite directors: Woody Allen, Matchpoint, 2005, Scoop, Vicky Cristina Barcelona, Christopher Nolan, The Prestige. These films strengthened her credibility, protected her from typecasting, built long-term power. She wasn't rushing fame, she was engineering longevity. By her mid-20s, critical respect, awards attention, industry leverage, Scarlett Johansson had done the impossible. She crossed from indie prestige to mainstream inevitability without losing artistic identity. But Hollywood had bigger plans, much bigger. A franchise was coming, a role that would make her one of the highest-paid actresses in history, and it would also trap her inside a machine she couldn't control. In 2010, Scarlett Johansson would step into a role that would bring global superstardom, billions in box office, in years of pressure she never asked for. This wasn't just fame, this was corporate power, and Scarlett was about to learn how dangerous that can be.
By 2010, Scarlett Johansson had already proven everything. Critical respect, awards recognition, elite directors. What she didn't have yet, global dominance. And then came a call that would change her life forever. Marvel Studios was building something unprecedented, a cinematic universe, a billion-dollar machine. And they needed a woman who could stand beside gods, geniuses, and soldiers without disappearing. Scarlett Johansson was cast as Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow, in Iron Man 2, 2010. Black Widow wasn't magical, she wasn't invincible. She was trained, broken, human. Scarlett gave her emotional restraint, physical discipline, psychological weight. Audiences noticed immediately. This wasn't eye candy, this was presence. From Iron Man 2 to The Avengers 2012, Captain America the Winter Soldier 2014, Avengers Age of Ultron 2015, Infinity War and Endgame, Scarlett became unavoidable. Marvel films earned billions, and she was at the center. By the late 2010s, she became one of the highest-paid actresses in the world, one of the top box office stars in history. On paper, she had won. But behind the success was a quieter struggle. Scarlett was locked into contracts, schedules, brand expectations. She trained relentlessly. Stunts, injuries, body standards. She later admitted, "You give so much of yourself to a franchise, sometimes you forget where you end." Marvel didn't just own her time, they owned her image. For years, Black Widow had no solo film. Male characters got trilogies, origins, depth. Natasha didn't. Scarlett publicly questioned it. Fans agreed. Behind closed doors, she pushed, not loudly, not emotionally, strategically. While ruling the box office, Scarlett quietly returned to serious acting. She starred in Her, 2013, voice-only performance, deeply human. Under the Skin, 2013, disturbing experimental sci-fi. Lucy, 2014, unexpected global hit. Marriage Story, 2019, raw, painful realism. That last one earned her Academic Award nomination Best Actress, Academic Award nomination Best Supporting Actress the same year. Few actors ever achieved that. Hollywood was forced to admit something. Scarlett Johansson was not just a franchise star, she was a serious actress, trapped inside a blockbuster machine. But the biggest confrontation was still ahead, one that would shake the entire industry. When Black Widow was finally released, it happened simultaneously in theaters and on Disney+. Scarlett sued Disney. Not emotionally, not publicly dramatic, legally, professionally. She claimed contract violation, lost box office bonuses, and disrespect for theatrical releases. The industry froze. Actors watched carefully. Studios panicked. This wasn't rebellion, this was authority. Scarlett won. Disney settled. And something changed forever. Actors realized they didn't have to accept everything. Scarlett Johansson had drawn a line. After Marvel, after lawsuits, after global dominance, Scarlett stepped back. Not because she failed, but because she chose to redefine success. Marriage, motherhood, creative freedom, and the most important question, what does legacy look like after you've already conquered Hollywood?
After more than a decade at the absolute top of Hollywood, Scarlett Johansson did something rare. She stepped back. Not because audiences left her, not because offers stopped coming, but because she chose control over chaos. Post-Endgame, Scarlett's on-screen presence slowed. No back-to-back franchises, no constant media cycle. To outsiders, it looked like a fall, but it wasn't a fall. It was a pause. She later explained, "I didn't want to be consumed by my work anymore." After years of physical strain, public scrutiny, and brand expectations, she wanted space. Scarlett's personal life was never simple. She married actor Ryan Reynolds in 2008. The marriage ended in divorce by 2011. Later, she married French journalist Romain Doriac. They had a daughter, Rose. That marriage also ended. She spoke openly about it. You have to know who you are before you can be with someone. These weren't tabloid stories to her. They were lessons about identity, about independence, about boundaries. Motherhood redefined her priorities. Scarlett became fiercely private, protective, grounded. She refused to let fame shape her child's life. In interviews, she said, "Being present matters more than being visible." Hollywood noticed the shift. So did she. In 2020, Scarlett married comedian and writer Colin Jost. The relationship felt different, less public, more balanced. They welcomed a son in 2021. This wasn't a fairy tale. It was real life, chosen carefully. Scarlett didn't disappear. She repositioned. She returned with roles that mattered. Marriage Story, emotional honesty. Jojo Rabbit, vulnerability and warmth. Voice acting, producing, selective appearances. She also launched her own production company. This time, she wasn't just talent, she was decision maker. Away from cameras, Scarlett committed to causes she believed in: women's rights, disaster relief, humanitarian organizations, support for marginalized communities. She avoided performative activism. No noise, just action. Scarlett Johansson's legacy is not just box office numbers, it's not just awards, it's something deeper. She proved you can be artistic and commercial. You can be powerful without being loud. You can challenge studios and win. You can walk away without losing relevance. She redefined what longevity looks like for women in Hollywood. Scarlett Johansson didn't chase fame, she outgrew it. She didn't ask for permission, she built leverage. And when the world expected her to keep running, she chose to slow down. Because real power is knowing when to stop and when to return on your own terms.